Hey girlies, hey gays, hey theys, and welcome back to Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian. This is episode 8, and once again, just like last week, I'm filming really late at night, but I'm dog sitting, so I'm not being quiet because Taylor's still awake. Sat here in my PJs, got my favourite PJ top on. It's technically not a pyjama top, but I wear it as a pyjama top. It is from the Renee Rapp concert, but I did actually buy one of the snide t-shirts. So we were going to go to the merch stand. We were going to go after the concert because we wanted to obviously get a good view at the concert. Shout out to my friend Emily, who was in the queue at the concert, and basically me and Taylor got there, we weren't going to get there ridiculously early. We just thought CBA for that. It was also a horrible day. It was raining really bad. So we got to, what was it, the Eventum Apollo. I think it was Hammersmith Tube. I don't even remember what time it was. And basically, we saw my friend and I was like, oh my God, Taylor, I was like, let's just go and ask if we can jump in the queue with it. So for context, Emily is my friend's girlfriend, but my friend wasn't there. So we're friend of a friend almost. So I thought it's not we don't have the type of relationship where I could just go up and ask her. But we've hung out more since then, so I feel like now I probably could. But yeah, so I was like, we can't just go up and ask. And I was like, you know what? I said, if the girl, say behind kicked off, I'd be like, have a tenner. Do you know what I mean? Go buy yourself a drink. But yeah, anyway, we didn't have time. Well, we could have gone to the merch stand before, but we wanted to get a good spot. So anyway, we did end up cutting in line with Emily. Sorry, not sorry. And we got really good, a really good view. We actually went for a wee when we got in, and then we got bang smack in the centre. We weren't too close to the front, but we weren't really fussed about that because we'd seen loads of people fainting and stuff who were really close to the front because it was so crowded. We were a little bit further back. But yeah, anyway, long story. We were gonna go to the merch stand after, but the queue was so long. We thought it wouldn't be as bad after because we thought people would go before, but obviously people were gonna go after because they wanted to get a good spot before the concert. So we were going to go after, and the queue was insanely long, and I thought I'll just buy it online. And then anyway, we were heading into the tube, and there was these men selling t-shirts and hoodies for a lot cheaper than inside. Obviously they're not legit and they're a little bit slightly different designs, but I was like, you know what, let's do it. So we bought 2 t-shirts. I think it was 2 for £30, and I'm sure the t-shirts in the venue were £30. So we got the I just want some recognition for having good tits and a big heart. It says good tits, big heart on the t-shirt. We have this one and it has the concert dates on the back, and then we have one and it's kind of Renee's face and it says Snow Hard Feelings Tour. That's on the other t-shirt. So they're really, really comfy as well. So these are our Jommy t-shirts. One, because I feel I can't wear this t-shirt out in public because it literally says good tits, big heart. So it's my PJ top. But yeah, that was a long story. So I'm sat here in my Renee Rapp merch filming episode 8 of Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian. I'm using a slightly different filming setup today. I've got a different mic, so if the sound quality is different, that is why. I realised last week's episode I was so quiet, but I just didn't want to wake anyone up in the house. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight on into this week's episode. So guys, we are currently we're 46. I was going to say 45. I'll not lie to you all. We're currently on 914 downloads. So we are 46, if I'm doing my maths correctly. I think I am. 46 downloads. No, that's wrong. Is that wrong? What do I need to do? 1000 minus 914. Just getting my calculator. 1000 minus 914. 86. I was a bit off with my numbers. We're 86 downloads, not 46. 86 downloads away from 1000 downloads, which is actually insane. I'm hoping maybe let's set realistic goals by episode 10. So This is episode 8. Next week will be episode 9. Week after, episode 10. Imagine by episode 10 we've hit 1,000 downloads. That would actually be insane. One thing I realised this week, I was like playing around on like the podcasts app, and I realised you can listen to a podcast without downloading it. Like I could go on, open my podcast right now. I've not even downloaded my own episodes. Like I could just click to listen to one. But if you click the little 3 dots like on the right hand side of the episode, you can hit download episode. So it baffles me that there are so many people downloading the episode, because I don't really do that. I guess it means that you can listen to it without Wi-Fi and stuff. But I would love to know how many people are listening, not just downloading, like how many people are listening each week. If anyone knows how to tell me how to figure that out, because I feel like that number would just blow my mind. If there's nearly 1,000 of you who've downloaded the podcast, and like hundreds of you who are downloading each individual episode, it genuinely blows my mind. And I'm just so grateful to you all for listening and downloading. It means the world. Yeah, so hopefully by, let's say the goal is by episode 10 to have 1,000 downloads. And Taylor said she'll get me like a present or something for hitting 1,000 downloads, and we could have like a little party episode and maybe try and get like another really cool guest on or something. That would be so good. I'm excited. So share the podcast with your friends. Even like if you don't want to listen, just download. Do you know what I mean? Up the numbers. But if you do want to listen, that would be great, because that means that I'm not speaking to no one. But yeah, I love it. I still can't believe it. I wonder, remember on one of the first episodes we looked at like the like statistics, like where people are from. Should we do that again? Let's do it. Okay, where do I find this information again? Okay, let's go to locations. So there are currently, we are up 10% downloads in North America. Crazy. So let's see. Okay, we have a 79% percentage of listeners are from the UK. So that is 731 listeners from the UK, 66 from the US, 19 from Taiwan, 19 from Australia, 8 from Germany, 8 from Spain, 7 from Ireland, 6 from Uganda, 6 from India, 6 from the Netherlands, 4 from Algeria, 3 from Canada, 3 from Poland, 3 from Greece, 3 from France, 3 from Hong Kong, 2 from Colombia, 2 from Portugal, 2 from Croatia, 2 from Belgium, and then the rest are all one each. I'll just go through them quickly. UAE, Norway, Chad, Cambodia, Tunisia, Japan, Philippines, Oman, I'm not sure how to say that, Peru, New Zealand, and Indonesia. What the hell? Oh my god, the most cities is Newcastle. No way. That makes me feel weird that like I don't know, I just have this weird thing that I just feel like everyone who listens from Newcastle is like a hater. You know what? Does anyone else find it so typical whenever you like bump into people from school? You always like look weird when you see them. Like not like I care, but I just bumped into loads of boys I went to school with the other day, and I thought, why the day that I'm dressed like a tramp? 33 from Sunderland. Ooh. I did not think Newcastle would be our most listened to. I don't know why. Even though I am literally from Newcastle. Wow, this is so weird looking at like where you're all listening from. How crazy. New Orleans. This is crazy. Madrid. There's 2 from Dartford, Kent, which is where I went to college. Oh my god, this is actually, oh my god, that list goes on and on. Dallas, Texas, Bournemouth, Brussels. That's literally insane. I just can't believe that there's so many people who actually listen and download the podcast. It is crazy, and I'm so grateful for all of your support. So anyway, let's get into our question of the week. So last week, one of you lovely listeners sent in a question asking, how did I know that I was lesbian and not bisexual? And I gave you my answer, but I said we would make that question into this week's question of the week, because I think it's a really interesting question. The response has been kind of like mixed, like a lot of mixed answers and opinions. So let's go in with the TikTok answers first. Let me just find the TikTok that I made. So I made 2 because the first one no one really saw, so I thought I'm just gonna make another one. So on this first one, someone commented, I think so much of people's struggles with this is that people enjoy the attention and validation from men because of things like comp het, etc. I don't know what comp het is. Anyway, I'm still kind of unsure on my label. However, I think with the sudden shift in representation and how With the sudden shift in representation and how so many singers, actors, celebs, etc. are coming out, I think that's definitely helping more. So I can't read today. I think that's definitely helping. Watching more queer TV and films really helped me realise, like, wow, I'd much prefer what they have rather than the average hetero couple have. That's so valid. I think representation is so, like, people don't understand how important representation is. Like, just to see yourself, like, or queer people, like, represented on the telly and celebrities and pop stars is so important. And I think I've said it for years, if I had more representation when I was younger, I think I would have realised I was gay a lot sooner. Yeah, let's go into some more of your answers. Someone said, because sadly I'm still attracted to men, but maybe there is time. That's funny. Oh, this is a long one. This is in, oh God, 7 parts. Wow. So this one, let's load all the parts up ready. So it says, this is more so for bisexuals questioning if they're lesbian, brackets, than vice versa. I feel like if you're questioning it, you're probably most likely a lesbian. For me, there were many key parts into realising I was lesbian and not actually bi. Some things like, would I marry a man? Do I want children with a man? Can I see myself in a long-term relationship with a man? And if I were in a relationship with a man, would I have the opportunity to be with a woman? The first 3 questions answered no, and I realised I instead wanted all of these things with a woman long-term in the future. A massive thing was also validation from men. That's the second time that's been mentioned. That's really interesting. I feel like it's practically internalised from women. The day we enter the earth, we're expected to seek out validation from men about our looks, personality, worth, etc. Also, heteronormative society makes us feel inclined to be with a man because that's what's socially acceptable and expected of us. And with anything that deviates from it, brackets being with a woman, is wrong. It wasn't until I started to remove men from being at the centre of a lot of my feelings that I realised I never actually thought of them at all, LOL. And I was playing into what society... Oh, I've lost part 7. Where's part 7 gone? Hello? I'm sure there was a part 7. I can't find it. That's really interesting, isn't it? That 2 people have said they sort of were saying or feeling that they were bisexual more so because of, like, the validation that they, not like they want from men, but they feel like they have to get from men to, like, fit into, like, a, what was that word she used? That was a good word. A heteronormative society. It's interesting. Someone put, honestly, I still don't know. I literally replied and I was like, totally fair. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of labels, even though I literally have a label in the podcast title. I'm not the biggest fan of labels. I think you don't have to label yourself as lesbian, bi, as anything. Just, you know, as long as you know who you are, that is literally all that matters. Someone put, honestly, I still have no clue. 1 minute I'm bi, then lesbian, then I tell myself I'm straight. So what does ATP mean? That was my principal's nickname at college. So apt, I don't know, apparent? I don't know what that stands for. Anyway, I just don't label myself LMAO, and I like who I like. Yeah, again, do you know what I mean? That's so valid. Like, you like who you like, you love who you love. You don't need to put a label on that at all. Someone commented, I'm not sure what this has to do with the question, but it says watch women's football. I don't know if that means if you watch women's football it means you're gay. I don't know. And I just replied saying, I do. I love women's football. It's my favourite thing to watch. I love it. And then final response on TikTok says, when I stopped caring about what men think completely. Isn't that so interesting that so many of our, like, awakenings are realising that, like, we actually don't need a men's validation? It's so interesting. I'm just going to check the Google form because I'm pretty sure there was 1 or 2 answers submitted on there. I did say that in the TikTok I made. I said, if you don't feel comfortable putting your comment like openly on TikTok, feel free to pop it on the Google Forms. If anyone ever wants to do that in future questions of the weeks, please feel free. Okay, yeah, I found the response from the Google form. It says, I knew I was a lesbian and not bi. When I was with men, my body used to physically reject them, and I used to actually get anxious shakes, even though I would tell myself and force myself into situations with them. And when I got my first girlfriend, in brackets, still with my girlfriend, yay, I'm so happy for you. I got off track then. When I got with my girlfriend, brackets, still with my girlfriend, that never happened. Also, I was always so much more excited talking to women. Growing up, I had massive yearning crushes on women that I couldn't control and would obsess over, but I only ever had a crush on a guy when I felt everyone else had one and I had to choose someone conventionally attractive. I feel you on the like intense crushes on women. I used to get them like massively, and I was like, I used to describe it to people. I was like, I get these like really weird feelings around certain women. I was like, I don't fancy them, but I just get these like really weird feelings. Like, how did I not know I was gay sooner? Anywho, let's stay on the Google form and have a look at some of your guys' questions and dilemmas that you've sent in over the week. Oh, this is a good question. It says, who is your female celebrity crush? And if you had to choose one, who would be your male celebrity crush? Okay, I feel like you all know my female answer is basically any women's football player. Specifically, Katie McCabe and Lucy Bronze. Those women, I literally, don't have words. They are up there for sure. If I had to choose a male, you know what? Has anyone else seen the video of Ross Lynch? I think it was at Troye Sivan's concert, and he was like sitting on that chair and it was giving like Magic Mike vibes. I was like, like that's an attractive man. I could see it. So maybe Ross Lynch? I don't know. I feel like that is one of the reasons that I know that I'm lesbian and not bisexual, because I can instantly tell you a woman, but a man I'm like, I don't really know. That's a good question. Maybe that's going to have to become a question of the week as well. I like it. Okay. Next one. Is that... No, it's not one of them. I knew there was another one somewhere. This is totally random. This person says, random question, but what is your favourite movie and what is your favourite musical? Okay, now I am a sucker for a comfort film. I like to watch the same movies like on repeat. I've like one of them, like Weird Brains. Like, I don't really like watching something new unless I know that it's like just a really like fun, happy movie, like nothing bad's gonna happen. I love like the Pitch Perfect series. I could watch that on repeat. I could tell you what happens in that on repeat. Like, I'll literally sit there and tell Taylor like what they're gonna say next. I love like sort of older school movies like Mean Girls, Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, Wild Child. Like, they're just such great films. Favourite musical? When I was at college, the musical I watched the most was Les Miserables. I went to see that loads. I proper like had a fangirl obsession with it. Also did fancy one of the girls that played Eponine, who I actually think might be a lesbian now. She's currently playing Janice in Mean Girls on the West End, I think. And like, I'm sure I've seen a video of her like waving the pride flag at the end of the show. So maybe she was a lesbian. That's why I had a crush on her. But yeah, I love Les Mis, but I feel like I've seen it too much now, and I'm a bit like, yeah, it's quite sad. Like, when poor Gavroche dies, like, it makes me sad. Favourite musical other than that? This is a hard question. I really like Six. I really like Heathers. I've kind of like gone off musicals a bit, to be honest. I feel like I've got like a love-hate relationship with them just because of like being in the performing arts industry. I feel like, I don't know. I tell you one musical that I love, and I feel like it's quite controversial. Shrek. Now, Oh God, funny story. Shrek was my third year musical at college, and one of the girls I went to college with managed to get the download link from our production of Shrek. And I sort of like skim watched it the other day, and I was howling. It was, I don't want to like say it was bad, but it wasn't great. It was really, really, really interesting. Um, so yeah, but I love Shrek. I love when it was on Netflix. It was nice to actually watch it and see how it was meant to be done. Um, Not quite how we did it, but um, everyone's open to their interpretation of how they put on a musical. Yeah, I really like Shrek. I really want to go see it. It's actually at the Eventum Apollo at the minute, which is where we watched where we watched Regina George, where we watched Renee Rapp. So yeah, I would love to go and see Shrek. But I don't think I'm going to get down to London in time because I think it's just on this summer. But yeah, maybe Shrek. I'm not really a big fan of the movie. Like, I've never really watched it loads. I've never been that big a fan. I'm more of a Disney gal. Yeah, any Disney movie as well, I love. Yeah, maybe Shrek the musical. I just think the songs are so catchy. And I just think it's good vibes all round. Okay, we have one final question that must have just come through. And it says, what are the types of lesbian? Someone asked me what I am and I have no clue, LOL. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know. So I'm just going to Google types of lesbian and we'll read through them together and then maybe you can figure it out. But I think we mentioned this on a previous episode. You don't have to give yourself a type. You don't have to put yourself in a box. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to. Should we go on Reddit? Is that a good place? Yeah, you don't have to put yourself in a box of what type of lesbian you are, but we'll read through them. Okay, that's not helpful, Reddit. Why isn't 27 types of lesbian? Which type are you? Let's open this. Okay. It's not telling me anything yet. Scroll. Okay, 27 types of lesbian. Coming in at number 27, butch lesbians. Butch lesbians fall into a category of lesbians who fall on the masculine end of the gender expression spectrum. They often wear clothes from the men's section and adopt traditionally masculine roles. Okay, I'm good. It's got picture references. That's so funny. 26 are stud lesbians. Studs' aesthetics are similar to how a butch lesbian dresses and acts. Their aesthetics are generally identical: masculine clothing, short hair, mask mannerisms, no makeup, etc. 25. Lipstick lesbians. This is probably me, isn't it? The lipstick lesbian meaning refers to lesbians on the femme side. It's used interchangeably with femme lesbians as a lesbian identity label. Okay, there we go. I think that's me. Next up, we have chapstick lesbians. Who came up with these names? Chapstick lesbians. That's so American as well, isn't it? It's like us saying lip balm lesbians. Unlike the lesbian labels on this types of lesbian list so far, the chapstick lesbian falls in the middle of masculine and feminine gender expressions. Okay. 23, we have trans lesbians. Transgender lesbians are self-explanatory. They are both transgender and lesbian. And then it says, unfortunately, the lesbian community can have a poor representation for excluding trans women. That's really sad. Let's not do that, people. Next up, we have cottagecore lesbians. Personally, this is not me personally, this is the article personally, cottagecore lesbians are my favourite type of lesbians. Cottagecore lesbians strive to live off the land. What do you mean? Oh, okay, they're going to paint us a picture of the dream life. Living with their wife in a cottage. A large and thriving vegetable, fruit and flower garden. Okay, that's quite cute, isn't it? Next up, we have the hippie/vegan lesbian. That's so funny. I feel like that is very self-explanatory, isn't it? It says, as you can assume, vegan lesbians are vegans. That's actually hilarious. Imagine, what type of lesbian are you? I'm the hippie vegan lesbian. Next up, I feel like we've all heard of this type of lesbian, is the U-Haul lesbian. Again, very American. So the name comes from a joke that lesbians move in with each other very early in the relationship. U-Haul lesbians have a reputation for falling in love fast, but then again, don't all lesbians. Yeah, there we go. I feel like me and Taylor were almost a U-Haul lesbian because we pretty much have never ever left each other's side since we got together. This is going to go on forever, I'm so sorry. Next is the power lesbian. The power lesbian is a lesbian of most sapphics' fantasies. Power lesbians are often in leadership roles. Exciting. I'm going to really get through these quickly. Next is the astrology lesbian. Sapphics in this lesbian category lean into astrology and the alignment of the stars. Next up, baby gay. Baby gays newly discovered their queer identities. I mean, self-explanatory much. Never heard of this one. The boy, but spelled B-O-I, lesbian. A boy? We? I don't know. Let's go with boy. A boy lesbian is similar to a butch lesbian because masculine gender expression is involved. There we go. Let's have a look at the picture. That person looks like they're in a rock band. Next up, we have the artsy lesbian. I'm just going to assume that that's someone who's, literally says someone who's into art. Okay. The activist lesbian, again, self-explanatory. We have the doppelganger lesbians. Doppelganger lesbians not only look alike, but they are the same gender most times. Do you mean like they're doppelgangers with the person that they're dating? Yes, it does. Next up, I've heard of this one on TikTok as well. The Hey Mamas lesbian. I'm going to literally says this particular lesbian label stems from lesbian TikTok. A specific type of mask lesbian would say hey mamas to a girl they found attractive. I feel like that's just so American. You'd never hear someone from England say that. I don't think they actually do that anymore since it became a cringe TikTok thirst trap trend. Okay. Next up, we have the horse girl lesbian. Horse girl lesbian is crazy about horses. I've literally, again, never heard of that. Next up is the witchy lesbian. This lesbian stereotype can sometimes overlap with astrology lesbians. Some of these, I'm like, where did you come up with this? Next, we have the alpha lesbian. The alpha lesbian has an undeniable cool factor that triggers a very typical lesbian response. Am I in love with her or do I want to be her? Fair enough. Next, we have the sporty lesbian. A sporty lesbian is into sports. Yeah, I think we gathered that. If I had to choose a type, it would be the sporty football lesbian. Katie McCabe, Lucy Bronze, you know where to find me. Next up, we have the skater lesbian. A skater lesbian is a subset of sporty lesbians. They skateboard. Okay, interesting. Next, we have the gold star lesbian. This lesbian refers to a lesbian. This lesbian label refers to a lesbian who has never been with a man in her entire life. The gold star lesbian has only ever been with women. Okay, we're getting there. This is number 5. Pillow princess. I feel like we all know what that is. We don't need an explanation. Number 4, the stone butch. So this is like the complete opposite to the pillow princess. Coming in at number 3, we have the lesbian cat mum. Apparently, lesbians are known for being cat owners. Another true stereotype for most lesbians. The person who wrote this article says, myself included, I can't really say anything because I have 5 cats. Next up, number 2, we have lesbian dog mums. Lesbian dog mums certainly carry different energy than lesbian cat lovers. See, I'm a dog and a cat person. I have 2 dogs and 5 cats, so I feel like maybe I'd be a bit of both. And coming in at number 1, I have never ever heard of this type of lesbian, and it says the denim dyke. Last but not least on this type of lesbians list, the denim dyke. This type of lesbian is also known as a blue jean lesbian. Fun fact, actually, I was an extra in the film Blue Jean. It's a film, was it set in the Northeast? I think it was set in the Northeast. And it's basically about a queer PE teacher during, I think it was when Thatcher was Prime Minister and there was some law, and it's actually a really, really powerful film. I would recommend watching it, and you can actually spot me a few times in the film. So go watch Blue Jean, everyone. So yeah, sorry, I got totally off track. The blue jean lesbian. In fact, I think this is the real, in quotation marks, name for the lesbian label. But doesn't Denim Dyke sound way better? Let's jump on this train together. Again, this is the person who wrote this article speaking, not me. Denim dykes are typically femme lesbians, or at least lesbians who fall more on the feminine side of the spectrum, who wear denim. I mean, doesn't everyone wear denim, like, occasionally throughout their life? This is so interesting. I'm going to read the rest of this because I'm interested in it. While still leaning into feminine clothing and accessories, the denim dyke avoids skirts and dresses. She simply prefers her blue jeans or black jeans. I discovered this lesbian label because it fits my best friend like a glove. Then, just to finish us off, to wrap this up, of course, this is not an exhaustive, I think, list of lesbian types. We are a diverse group of people with many aesthetics and interests, even if a lot of us fall into some stereotypical categories. But embracing the lesbian stereotypes can be fun, or even a bit of relief. So there we go. That was a long list, but hopefully that's maybe given you a little bit of insight. But like I said, you really don't need to choose one and say, that's me. Like, there was a few on that list that I would say I would fit into, but I think I'm going to describe it, and this is probably going to be so wrong, but it's almost like GCSEs. Like, when you have your GCSE results, no one in the future asks you what your GCSE results are. It's kind of like this, like, obviously you're saying someone's asked you and you have no idea what you are, but the chances of some, like, you getting into a relationship and someone's like, what type of lesbian are you? I only date this type of lesbians. Like, it's not unnecessary, because if you want to give yourself a label, and if you want to know, okay, I can't even remember what we had on that list. If you might go, I am a denim dyke, and you want to embrace that, and that's absolutely fine. But you might just want to be a lesbian, or be gay, or be queer, or be bisexual, or you might not want to label yourself as anything. You might just, I feel like queer is like a good, like, generalized term, or like gay. I feel like gay is normally my go-to. I feel like queer sounds more like, not posh, what's the word, like sophisticated, to be like, I'm queer, not I'm gay. But yeah, don't feel like you need to put yourself into a box, in a category, and a stereotype, but if you want to, absolutely go for it. That wraps up all the questions and stories. We didn't have any dilemmas this week, which is sad. So, I mean, I'm glad that no one has a dilemma, but please, if you have any, send them in. Send in your stories, send in your questions. The questions of the weeks will be posted on my TikTok every week. It's Juliet Francis T. I'll link everything in the description of the podcast, so you can get involved and submit your answers to the question, and they will be read out on the podcast. And like I said, if you don't want to submit them publicly on TikTok, you can go into the Google form, which again I'll put in the description of the podcast, and you can I just lost my train of thought. And you can put in your answer to the question there anonymously, so no one has to know that it came from you. And then on that Google form as well, you can send in your questions, your dilemmas, your stories. I'd love to do like a whole episode on like crazy lesbian dating stories. I feel like that would be really cool. So please send them in. I literally wish I had them, but I don't. I've literally dated one woman, and that is the woman that I'm still dating 4 years later. So yeah, not very exciting for me. So I need your guys' help with that one. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this episode up here. I feel like I've not really spoke about much, but it's been 33 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for listening. And I will speak to you all next week for episode 9. Don't forget to download. I feel like it's download on podcast, not subscribe. So yeah, don't forget to download and leave a review if you want to. And let's get to 1,000 downloads. I'm so excited. Maybe my treat for my 1,000th download will be to film an episode in a podcast studio, because my goodness, are they expensive to hire. I made a TikTok about this, and basically everyone I found, you find one that you think, oh, that's reasonably cheap, and then they're like, minimum hire 2 hours. I'm like, I don't need 2 hours. Like, most of my episodes, I think the longest one was the one with Priya, and I still think that was only just over an hour, but most of the episodes are coming in like between 30 to 45 minutes. I'm like, I don't need 2 hours. Give me an hour's booking for like that price. I don't want to pay for 2 whole hours. So maybe when I get my 1,000 downloads, I'll treat myself to a podcast studio. I mean, I guess I could like bulk film and film like 2 episodes in one day, but I quite like filming them weekly because it gives me something to like look forward to and think of a question and get all your guys' answers. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll speak to you all soon for episode... I just forgot what episode's next. Episode 9. For episode 9. Bye, everyone!